I'd like to welcome everybody to Seniors Action Quebec's Symposium on the GPS project for seniors, which is called Getting to Programs and Services for Seniors. Bienvenue, mesdames et messieurs, au Symposium sur le projet GPS for seniors, Getting to Programs and Services for Seniors. We hope you see the pun in the title, GPS, Getting to Programs and Services. The purpose of the symposium is to tell you about how the project has been carried out, what has been accomplished, and what has been learned. The project is a 2-year demonstration project which was begun in 2016 and has been funded by the New Horizons for Seniors program of Employment and Social Development Canada. And it's focused on socially isolated English-speaking seniors. The minister responsible for ESDC, the Minister of Families, Children and Social Development, Jean-Yves Duclos, could not be with us today. Also with us is Linda Schwey, who is President of the Seniors Liberal Commission of the Liberal Party of Canada. Welcome, Linda. And also Lyse Storozuk. Did I get it right?
Good morning.
Lisa, just stand up for a moment. Lisa is with the Secreteriat for Relations with English-speaking Quebequers. Welcome. So now we will have a video message from Minister Duclos.
Hello. I would like to welcome you to the Seniors Action Quebec Symposium. The Government of Canada recognizes the important role seniors play in our society. As Prime Minister Trudeau recently said, seniors have a lasting and life-changing impact on us all. As Canadians live longer, healthier lives, and seniors represent an increasingly large share of Canada's population, it is important that seniors can live in dignity, security, and independence. That is why our government has taken concrete steps to improve the lives of Canada's seniors. We have restored to 65 the age of eligibility to old age security and guaranteed income supplement. We have also enhanced the Canada Pension Plan, and we have significantly increased direct GIS payments to single seniors by nearly $1,000 per year. We're also focused on improving social inclusion and making sure that seniors have access to the health services and housing that they need. In fact, a key part of our national housing strategy is making sure that seniors, alongside other vulnerable Canadians, can find safe, affordable, and accessible places to call home. Our government places enormous value on the contributions seniors have made and continue to make to our communities, our workplaces, our families, and our country. Organizations like yours are key in celebrating and supporting the roles seniors play in Canadian society, as you make important contributions towards enhancing Canadian seniors' well-being and enacting positive changes in their lives. Thank you all for all you do. I wish you a great event.
So thank you, Minister Duclos. Today's symposium has 2 honorary sponsors. They are the Community Health and Social Services Network, better known as CHSSN, and Les Petits Frères. Representing CHSSN here today is Russ Cooper, who is waving to everybody at the back of the room. He's manager of programs at CHSSN. Seniors Action Quebec is grateful for CHSSN's continuing support of our organization and for its in-kind contributions to the GPS project. Representing Les Petits Frères is Emmanuelle Singh, who is seated here at the front, and also Lyse Bodoin, who is membre ou président de la table de concertation. D'accord. Et vous êtes impliqué aussi sur le conseil?
Non, je suis bénévole chez les Petits Frères.
Bénévole, d'accord.
I worked there for 32 years, but now I'm a volunteer.
D'accord. Merci, bienvenue. We'll be hearing from Emmanuelle about Les Petits Frères and about social isolation in a few minutes. And both CHSSN and Les Petits Frères, as well as other groups, have kiosks here where you can look at material to learn more about what they do. The GPS project has been carried out in collaboration with 4 community organization partners. It is they who have recruited the volunteers and led the efforts to reach English-speaking socially isolated seniors. They are represented here today by staff, volunteers, and a senior, and I will ask them to, I'll ask them all to stand, that is all of the staff and the volunteers and the senior from each of the organizations, just so you can get an idea of how many are here in the room. But the organizations are North Shore Community Association, that's Jody at the back, the Committee for Anglophone Social Action, better known as CASA, Vision Gaspé Percé Now, and the African Canadian Development and Prevention Network, which is better known by the tongue-twisting acronym ACDPN. So there'll be a test at the end of the day to see if you can say that. So you'll be hearing from representatives of each of these organizations in the course of the day because they're sharing the presentation of the information that we've gained in the GPS project. The symposium will take place largely in English. Le symposium se déroulera pour la plupart en anglais. Des questions en français sont les bienvenues. Les réponses seront faites dans la langue qui convient à la personne qui répond. So now it's time for the first presentation. And I would like to invite Emmanuelle Singh, who is Director of Programs and Innovation of Les Petits Frères.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Michael. Well, first of all, good morning, everyone. It's an honor for me to be here this morning, and I would like to thank Michael and the entire Senior Action Quebec team for inviting me today to speak to you about the issue that is really important in our society, social isolation. I come here today on the behalf, like Michael just introduced, on behalf of Les Petits Frères, or the Little Brothers in English. For us, social isolation is the heart of our commitment by welcoming and providing support to lonely elders, but creating a caring, committed, extended family around them dedicated to alleviating their isolation and being by their side throughout their remaining years. We may be new to you, but Les Petits Frères has been over 55 years in Quebec, that we accumulate field experience to individualize and personalize action to create significant contact with seniors living in a social isolation, with a generous contribution of 2,000 volunteers like Lyse, and also 16 teams in 11 regions in Quebec. So I'm really proud of that. Les Petits Frères des Pauvres, so Les Petits Frères was founded in France by Armand Marquiset in 1946 and has been operating in Quebec since 1962. His life-affirming legacy lives on today with Little Brothers organization, operating in 10 countries, connected through the International Federation. First, it is important to recognize that social isolation affects everyone at all ages. But I'm going to talk more about the social isolation of seniors, especially seniors of 75 years and older, because we advance with age often comes increase of frailty and vulnerability, prompted by the succession of loss that tend to accumulate the stage of life. What's social isolation? According to National Senior Council, social isolation is commonly defined as a low quantity and quality of contact with others. A situation of social isolation involves few social contacts and few social roles, as well as the absence of mutually rewarding relationships. 30% of seniors are at risk of being socially isolated. Social isolation is on the rise around the world and particularly prevalent among the elderly, and the risk of being alone increases with age. They represent an enormous challenge for our society, with more than 600,000 Quebequers currently in the 75 plus age group, a number that is expected to double within the next 2 decades. While there's 3 different democratic facts that could lead to the increase of social isolation here in Quebec. There's the lengthening of life, so the addition of a generation, because life is getting longer and in our life, and when you grappling with the lost and the important people in your life, your spouse, so you lose your spouse, your family members, your friends, as well as multiple ailments and chronic health problem, it becomes more difficult to maintain social contacts. Drilling mobility, cognitive decline, limited financial means, and solitary living arrangement can all make matters worse. And because women have a longer life expectancy than men, they tend to bear the brunt and these impacts. Second, fragile family structure. We had, usually in the 40 years ago, we had 6 children, 7 children, and the eldest daughter at least was taking care of someone in the family, could take care of that person. Today we have fewer children or less, so it's difficult to have one person, or else everything goes on the same person. The third work brings to people out the cities or out the country, so the children are getting to work the way, so it make less or a distance with the family. This explanation goes beyond the systemic individual increase. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. This explanation goes beyond systemic individualism. Increasing situation like geriatric profile, we take care of 75 years older. Many organizations do a great job, have welcome people, exactly, but we are Les Petits Frères organization that led the limit to the other organization. We work in partnership to put on the people, to put on the person individually. Study shows that social isolation affects neuroendocrine activity, inflammation, and immunity. Increase the risk of dementia and cognitive decline by 60%. Increase the risk of mortality is as dangerous as obesity, drinking, or smoking in terms of adverse health outcomes. In associate with elevated level of depression and suicide. Having caring, compassionate people around, you can play a decisive role in involving overall quality of life. Several factors can contribute to increase isolation. Loss of loved ones, physical immobility impairs, mental health condition and cognitive decline, living alone, and poverty. Social isolation is a term that is often used interchangeably with other, including loneliness. So you have social isolation, loneliness, and it's two different things. Here, the notion of social isolation will be reserved for situations where contact are scarce and of low quality with others. More especially, social isolation refers to all life situations marked by limited interaction. In number, the amount of contact a person has with his, her, or family is limited in decline. In frequency, contact or space in time. For example, senior may gradually or suddenly withdraw public spaces or activities in which they participate. This withdrawal is often an indication of increasing isolation. In quality, contact all allow little and no exercise to different social role by elders and mutual exchange. Finally, it should be borne in mind that situations of social isolation are complex. Moreover, they do not all look the same in time. They can, for example, appear quickly in the life course of people and be temporarily or slowly develop and become permanent. There are therefore several possible cases regarding the speed with which the situation of social isolation taking place in duration. You have different social isolation, solitude, and living alone. Contact with relative, neighbor, community resources, or professional from different spectra are a source of exchange for an elder. Their small number can have a negative impact on their well-being, the satisfaction of their need, and their quality of life. In the situation, generates dissatisfaction in the relation with others, a feeling of privation, often a suffering or a question of loneliness. In result, from a senior person, perception of pronounced gap between a quantity and the quality of the relationship she has and those she would like to have. In addition, a person may objectively not be isolated, but feel a deep sense of loneliness. Conversely, a person who has little relationship with others may be quite satisfied with it. For some, just like social isolation, loneliness can be a transitional situation, often occur in association with particular life events. For others, it's a long-term situation. Living alone, or the other hand, simply means being the only member of a household, the only occupant of dwelling. The interaction between loneliness and social isolation is living alone or complex. The three things. For example, a person can live alone without social isolation or loneliness. A person may socially isolate without necessarily living alone or suffering from loneliness. A person may suffer from loneliness although he does not live alone, and it's not socially isolated. As indicated by the intersection of the three, an elder can also experience two of these situations, or the three situations at the same time. So it's pretty complex. According to a recent study, social isolation is dangerous to health, as obesity, smoking, and drinking. Conversely, human contact has been proven to have measurable and lasting benefits on individual well-being. At Little Brothers, we are firm believers that every person's life has a meaning, no matter what their physical or mental condition, and that every significant relationship they form, or any age, does wonder for their moral and overall wellness. Together, our 2,000 volunteers and generous donors have created an extended intergenerational family for and with our elder friends. We provide them with a range of programs that have a concrete impact on their lives and on their lives of solidarity seniors across Quebec. We're proud to have accomplished so far, and I would like to introduce Lyse and also Emily that works on the West Island, but she's not here, I guess. Emily has been working in West Island and built a team for English speaking, and also we have different teams that could be able to welcome English speaking people. Just to finish, because we're in the vision of increasing development by partnership. Seniors Action Quebec initiative is really it's really interesting because it creates different link between the community, and also it's the same on the same path of Les Petits Frères. So we salute your initiative, and we are open to create a relationship in the future. So, thank you very much for your.
Thank you, Emmanuelle. One of the reasons that we invited Les Petits Frères to be an honorary sponsor is because when we learned about their existence and made contact with them, met them to understand what they do, we began to realize, wow, this is an organization that is 100% focused on social isolation of seniors, and that's really quite impressive. And as Emmanuelle mentioned, it's an organization that began in France, got its foothold in Quebec in the 60s, and has become interested in expanding its scope so that it also is active in the English-speaking community, and that's part of the reason that we invited them here. And we encourage representatives of other organizations here to make contact with Les Petits Frères and build your own relationship